In the previous chapter on motion, you studied what motion is and some types of motion, like uniform motion, where an object travels with a constant speed, or maybe accelerated motion, uniformly accelerated motion to be specific, in which the speed of an object changes uniformly. What we did not study in that chapter is what actually causes motion. So in this chapter actually we try to explore motion and try to understand what causes motion. After that we will explore motion more and try to develop a better understanding of motion. So to start with, let us explore around us and see what causes motion. So let me try to set something in motion. Oh yeah, so what can I set in motion? I have this chair that I can set in motion. So let me try to set the chair in motion. So to set something like this object in motion, what I can do is I can obviously push on it, right? But if I push it, well, see, nothing is happening right now. But if I push harder, well, it does move a bit, right? Actually, I need to push a lot harder and the chair does move. So maybe we can infer from this that if you push something hard, it moves. But I can do something else also, right? I can pull the chair towards me and it will move. So I can pull it hard enough and the chair moves. So from this we can infer that if we push something or if you pull something, that object moves. Or in other words, we can push or pull something to set it into motion. So maybe we may infer that pushing and pulling is the cause of motion. Another thing that I just observed in this was that I need to constantly push the chair in order to keep it moving. So right, if I take the chair and if I pull it, see, it's moving, but if I stop pulling it, it stops. So in order for something to be in motion, maybe I need to keep it pulling or keep it pushing, either ways, and only then can the object be in motion. In case I have a football, I can see that even if I push it slightly, so I can just push it slightly and the ball moves. Obviously it moves for some time and then comes to a rest, just like this, and again I have to keep on hitting it. So you must have experienced this while dribbling a football, that you need to keep on pushing a football to keep it in motion. So for example, you stop pushing it, the ball comes to a rest on its own. So obviously I might be hitting the ball, but after all, hitting is also pushing. So essentially you need to just push a football for it to be in motion. But if you stop pushing, so after some time, if you stop pushing the ball, it will move and then soon come to rest. And I can also pull the ball, but even then the ball would move some distance and then come to rest. So from the two examples that I gave you, one of the football and the other of a chair, what we saw that, so what are the key things to be noted? Firstly, to set something in motion, be it a heavy object like the chair or a lighter object like the football, we need to give it a push or a pull. So a push or a pull is required to set something in motion. Also one more thing that we observed with both the chair and the football is that in order to keep something in motion, we need to constantly pushing it or pulling it. If we stop pushing it or stop pulling it, the object comes to rest on its own. So that is kind of the observations that we can make. and that is exactly what people in the earlier days had generally observed, that if you continue pushing an object or pulling an object, it keeps on moving, but if you stop pushing or pulling it, it naturally or it on its own comes to rest. And so people thought that rest is the natural tendency of all objects, and that to some extent seems true, right? Everything around us, the football, the chair, comes to rest on its own. So it seems that rest is the natural tendency of objects. On the other hand, motion is something that we need to induce by either pushing or pulling. One last thing that I would like to add here is that let us give a name to the cause of motion. So what causes motion? Well, we just saw a push or a pull causes motion. So let us group a push or a pull into one word called a force. So force is nothing but a push or a pull, and a push or a pull, which is a force, causes motion. So if I push something, I'm applying force. If I pull something, I'm applying force. And pushing and pulling also include hitting objects, like using a bat to hit a ball or kicking something. So all those things are included in pushing, and pushing and pulling is in general called a force. So when you push something or pull something, you apply a force. So in the next video, we will see why this intuitive idea of that we need to keep on applying force, in other words, we need to keep on pushing or pulling something in order to keep it in motion. So we'll see how this idea might not be correct.